Jess TV is also now available on Meta TV. So if you don't like Roku TV and you want to check out Meta TV, go there because that's a lot of fun. And so it's brand new. We're checking that out, seeing how each little individual thing works with our streaming platform. And then also, most of you guys already know, we've been also streaming through the NCG television network in Italy. So hello to all those fans and folks over in Italy. I know it is Sunday morning over there for you, so sit back, have your espresso because it's like 3 a.m. for you guys. So good morning, good morning. With me this evening, I have a special guest who just fell into my lap in a way, in a good way. So with me, a special, amazing guest, Nik Lewis, is with me, and he's going to kind of bring in a new maybe mindset or a new outlook to, you know, the physical activity and fitness state in our lives. We're going to touch up a little bit on that, maybe a little bit on mental health and some other things. So sit back and relax. And we're going to have Nik go ahead and please formally introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into the journey of how you got into what you are doing today. So take it away.
100%. Thank you for inviting me on and having me on as a guest. And
you're welcome. I'm just going to also put you solo screen so that the audience gets a nice big screen of you. All right. I haven't gone anywhere. Okay, continue.
Awesome. Yeah. So thanks for having me on your platform. I'm Nik Lewis, originally from Texas, born and raised, and played sports all my life. Made my way to Southern Arkansas University as a D2 walk-on in the U.S. there. Walk-on means I didn't have a scholarship. Earned one in 2 years. Broke every record that I could break in college, and then made my way to the Canadian Football League, where I played 14 years, 11 years in Calgary for the Stampeders. My last 3 years in Montreal for the Alouettes. I finished my career as the all-time leading receiver in CFL history in catches, top 5 in yards, and became the 22nd first ballot CFL Hall of Famer and inducted in 2021. So it's been a great journey in sports. I've had the privilege to coach for the BC Lions out in Vancouver for a year in 2019. And then the past 2 seasons, I coached in Calgary for the Stampeders. And now we're on the march to launch my company, AO Sports, which stands for Athlete Owned Sports, and can't wait to share it with you.
All right. So when he sent me his email, I saw the AOL. I was like, America Online. It's like, oh, okay.
AO is just so catchy because, you know, just I walk into a room and I just, AO.
AO. That is so true.
It's like, you know, when you go in and people are going to start saying it all the time once we launch the platform for athletes and sports content creators. And it's just going to be a fun place to be. It's, you know, building a global community, right?
Oh,
so having a global community where I believe sports is one of the greatest uniters in the world.
Yeah.
Because, you know, brings sports fans that maybe have different religions, you have different political views, but when you sit in the stands and you root for a team, it doesn't matter, right? You're only there to win the game. And I've read books about the emotion that fans go through, as well as the players on the field and the coaches and everybody, is when your team wins and the emotional state that happens in you. Even when you lose, you know, sometimes your emotions downturn. So you're so emotionally tied to sports, but you're right there with everybody that's right beside you. You're locked arm in arm, and you're hoping the best for the team on the field that you're rooting for. So we want to bring that to life in a bigger way and just engage more with the athletes and the fans.
Absolutely. I love going to games and just, like you said, you know, everyone that's there, they're wearing the same sports gear, you know what team they're cheering for. And it's like the world is so united at that moment. And it's like you're all one just big happy family and you're all like cheering things on, even though you may see the opposite team, you know, a couple people down your row and they're cheering for the other ones and you're heckling them and, you know, but it's all good and fun, right? Like you're just like, whatever. And you know, going into a game, it's 50-50. Like you could win or they could win. But
That's
you
it.
know, it's all in good fun, and like you said, it's so funny how we get so invested in our favorite teams, and it's like you're hoping and hoping and hoping for that win, and then when they lose or something, you're like, oh, you feel it like in your
You feel
heart.
it.
You're like
But when your team is playing on that championship day, that's one of the most powerful days in my life is 2008, 2014. I was able to win Grey Cups. I played in three, but 2008 and 14 we won. But just understanding the dynamic of waking up that day, and no matter if you were a water boy, a football player, a coach, owner, a fan, anybody that represents that team in some form or fashion,
mm-hmm.
you wake up with the same hopes that we wake up with as players. Like, you're going to identify as a champion by the end of the day,
Yeah,
right? And do your part for cheering on the team. And if it's in your living room or it's in the stadium, you
yeah,
feel the value of becoming a champion and representing that city as a champion. And it's such a powerful thing in the world today, is when you can see that happen. I think I was jealous before I won my first one, of seeing people celebrate. And I
oh
can say
really,
that now, right? See other people celebrate championships, because
yeah.
I'd never had a chance to win one. But as soon as I won
Mhm.
one, it kind of opened that floodgates to just, now I watch teams win, even if it's a team I don't like. When I see them win, it's kind of like, wow, that's awesome. It's just an amazing feeling to know what they're going through, and
Yeah.
uh, just the commitment that you put into it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's go and take that back to going into coaching. How did you get into coaching? And then take us through, like you said, those moments of, those big giant wins or the big losses. And also take us through, because I think this is important. Not a lot of people understand what goes into coaching and making sure like your team is ready for a playoff game. Like those are like, and it's not just physical, it's mental. So if you want to kind of, I know that's
No,
a
it's good.
loaded question, but just kind of take us through that a little bit at a time, and just dissect it a little bit for us, because as someone that goes in and you're just watching the game, there are times you watch on TV, or I don't know, you're at a pub and you're watching it and everyone's like, pass the ball and he's got it, like he's open, they see it, and it's like, it's so simple, like just ball run, goal, go for
I
it.
wish
Like,
it was
why
that
can't,
simple.
you know what I
I wish
mean?
it was that
There's the
simple.
layperson side, and then there's like the actual, like, no, it's not as easy as that. So take us through.
100%. So when I went to Southern Arkansas, my goal was to be a coach. That was my dream, to be a coach. As a D2 walk-on, never thought I would play pro football. But took a great 14-year detour in my life that allowed me to do what I did. But, when I think about coaching and getting into coaching, and loving the aspect of coaching and having that responsibility to help these younger men on their journey to becoming their greatest self, and being able to just accept it and be in a space where it's like, okay, here's what we got to do. But then when you walk through the door, 90% of coaching is busy work, right? So 10, 12, 14-hour days of doing busy work, of always preparing. It's a lot of preparation work, that you're always preparing for things, where you're preparing for the season, you're preparing for this week, and then you got to prepare for tomorrow. Everything is about preparation in sports when it goes to coaching, especially in the football world. And when you talk about the kind of the wins and losses and watching the game, you don't really get to watch the game as a coach, because when we call a play, so I was a receiver coach. So when we call a play, I'm looking at certain elements, like how's the defense playing this secondary? Are we going to get the ball to the person we want to get the ball to? And then I got to figure out why we didn't get it, or why it did happen, so I can relay that to the other coaches, so that we can continue the game plan going forward. So it's always a lot of communication between the coaches on the sidelines, and everything that's going on in real time. So it's a constant, let's figure it out. It's like, it's a great game of strategy, because you're always constantly trying to figure out, what are they doing? How are they trying to stop us? What are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? And then how can we improve that to get us closer to a victory?
All right. That makes a little more sense, right? Because, like I said, we're watching the game and it's like we're so more emotionally involved.
It's all
right?
the results.
You're so invested in your team.
You watch the fans watch the result, so they see the result. It's either a good play or a bad play. They don't understand the degree of why it was good or why it was bad. They just understand it was successful in getting a first down or a catch, or not successful or giving up a sack or throwing an interception. So there's a lot of elements in between. They're just really like the result. It was either good for us or it was bad for us. So as a coach, you kind of stay right there in the middle, and you're trying to understand why was it bad or why was it good, and then continue to work on those aspects.
Yeah, because you can probably see the outcome. Like if it was a good play, it's going to continue to get good. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. But if it's a bad play, you're probably sitting back going, okay, we have to make this change or it's going to get worse. Or if we do it, tweak it this way, it'll get good, but then it could still get worse. So take us, like, what's your thoughts on that? Is it?
Yeah, so everything is percentages. So different coaches, they say defensive coaches, they'll run certain defenses in certain situations. So you know you got a 30% chance or 20% chance or 60% chance of them running this actual defense. So your playbook, you're going to pick a play that you believe, okay, if we got a 6% chance of this, or we're expecting them to play this because this is what they've done previously against us, then we want to pick plays that we believe will work against that defense. Now, if we pick a play and they come out in a different defense, that play might not be as successful, right? But it's all about, percentages and understanding the percentages, understanding the flow of the game. Do they have something that they keep going to that's been working that we need to expect to go to run plays that highlight weaknesses in that defense that they're playing? So it's a lot of communication and understanding of what's going on the field as a whole. Yeah. And it can get chaotic at times, but I always said it takes one person to save a defensive play. 12 people on the field on the defense, 12 on offense. One person on defense can save a defensive play. A DB can fall down, receivers running wide open, and the quarterback can get sacked by a great pass rush by a D lineman, right? But it takes one person to mess up an offensive play, because it really takes all 12 executing together to really make one play work, because this receiver might be running to attract two people. Yeah. And if it takes two people, then it opens up one person, right? So everything about strategy, it's not just about run around, get open, and let's get the ball. It's really trying to get the ball to certain people in certain places where they are their best. And then if we can do that consistently, then we have a great chance to win the game.
Yeah, nice. Take us to a time where you thought one outcome was going to happen and it just completely turned 180. Take us through one story.
I remember in the 2012 Grey Cup, as a player, actually, it was a close game for a while, and we ran a play where the receiver's supposed to run a corner route where he runs 15 yards, and he heads to the outside. The ball's going to be outside, thrown outside, so he turns over his shoulder, catches the ball. But the DB dropped him, which means the DB didn't cover him, and he's running by himself. He threw his hand up, and he stayed looking inside, expecting the quarterback to throw him down the field for a touchdown. But the quarterback still threw it outside, expecting him still to go to the corner. And by the time he got his head around and tried to track the ball down, the ball hit the ground. So just a miscommunication in an instant of it should have been a touchdown. And it, in the Grey Cup, in the biggest game in the Canadian football game, it's a bad time to have a miscommunication when the game is close or when you're losing like that.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Miscommunication is,
yeah.
And anything and everything in life can just be like, you want to go back and change it or whatever and go, no, this was that or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. Because you're like, who's wrong? Who's right? Right.
Yeah.
And you don't know. It's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can, and then you get the blame game and all that fun stuff. So that's a nasty road. Nasty road. Let's not go there.
100%.
Moving along. So football in a whole, what were, some of the greatest moments, and what were maybe the hardest and trying times for you and not just as a coach or whatever, but maybe it's moving around, or maybe you didn't go along with the team, whatever it was. But through your whole career, what were the this was like the most greatest moment of my life, and then the complete opposite of and you don't have to name names. Keep that out because I don't want to go down there.
Great moments. I've had some great moments. Some of the greatest moments that come to mind, just flush back in, is winning Rookie of the Year, my rookie year, being named the best rookie of the league, having 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons in the CFL, my first 9, winning 2 Grey Cups. I remember after winning my first Grey Cup, just the feeling that it validated everything. It validated all the no's I've got previously. It validated all the hard times I had to go through. It was like if I had to go through that to feel this, it just now validated everything. And that's why I hate some guys that never win championships, because they never get that validation feeling that it was worth going through all that other stuff to get here. It was just great. And then going into the Hall of Fame in 2021, what a moment that was in my life, to go from D2 walk-on to the last person signed to the roster in 2004 to becoming a first ballot Hall of Famer. And just, it was a celebration for my friends and family, because I understood I've done what I've done on the field because of them, because of their sacrifices, because of their support during the hard days, the good days, and everything in between. It was truly like a group effort, but I was the one that got to represent us to go into the CFL Hall of Fame. But I was able to share that moment with a lot of family and friends, and it was just great. It was just great to be a part of. And then I go back to the bad times, and we always have bad days in our lives. We always have bad things, and I always try to keep the mindset when I played, it's okay to have a bad play, but never a bad day, which just mentally strengthening myself to understand, if you drop a pass, you miss a block, you mess up a play, that's fine, but don't do it again. Like, we got to be mentally tough enough to recover and keep going at the same pace, so that we don't have those same mistakes more than once. And then in 2013, August 17th, I broke my leg. So I was on pace for my 4th straight 1,200-yard season. I was close to breaking the record of 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and I broke my leg and tore every ligament in my ankle, and then the ligament that runs from your knee to your ankle. So at 31 years old, I had my first major injury. Had surgery 5 days later, and from that point on, they told me I wouldn't jog for 4 months, and I was actually cleared less than 3 months. So it was the new challenge in my life. But after I came back from that injury, knowing that I would never be the same caliber player again was very hard to go out there and continue to play, not being able to think that you could ever get back to that level. But 3 years later, I was able to get back to that level to get my 10th 1,000-yard season in the CFL, which only been done twice. So that was amazing feeling as well.
Wow. What we go through, right?
That's it.
It tests our character and our determination. And it's like, okay, what's going to set us forward? What's going to set us back? And I don't think a lot of people can understand that, whether, whatever accident's happening or just something in your life that you think is a setback, can actually be something to help you improve in your life, or something to carry forward and be able to help out the community as a whole, because you're learning something through that. And often, like I said, some people look at it and they go, oh, I'm out for a year, or I'm out for this or whatever. But who knows? Maybe that's to help your whole entire team to get stronger without you 100%. In a way, right? Maybe they're like, oh, they just like, okay, oh, Nik's around. Oh, we got this, whatever. But then they put all the pressure on you to perform every single game. And then this way, when you're taken out of the equation, like, shit.
Yeah. And, I always say, what we ask for in life, we have to go through things to acquire that.
Yes.
Right. So whatever you're asking for, one thing I never prayed for before game was patience, because I know I have to be put in a situation to be patient. in order to build that skill set. And I never wanted to wait to get the ball. So I would never say, "Hey God, let me be patient today." No, I want to be hungry today. I want to go get it. So, but just understanding like what we ask for, you got to be put in those situations. Like when you say, "I want to trust," you got to be put in a situation to start trusting. Right? It's not going to be easy. And that's what we have to understand. But that's also allowed me to make it through some of my toughest times in life, is understanding the tests that I'm going through today are only strengthening me in those areas that allow me to withstand the next test.
Yeah, it's so true. And I don't know if it's just comes with age that you learn these things, or, hopefully those that are watching can understand and go, yeah, like, we may sometimes not know a situation, or we do ask for something and we're like, oh, okay, I wasn't ready for that.
Exactly.
God's like, I got you, I hear you, and buckle up because it's coming. Right? You never know.
It is coming.
It is coming. The mental health of players, we'll just dip into this and then we'll go into your business. Okay. I just want to ask, how do football players deal with, it's a mental game every single time you're out there on that turf. And, you may have the pressure of, a Grey Cup series, or you have the pressure of family watching, and then you have the pressure of the players and the pressure of every single fan that's watching you from the stand. How do you deal with those mental pressures as a player and as a coach?
I've seen some people just totally remove themselves from social media and other places to try to deal with that. I've been in both eras, where before the internet went crazy to now. I didn't play in the TikTok era, but the Instagram era I played in, and Twitter, and even having that back and forth on Twitter with fans, and tweeting anything at me and just saying the wildest, craziest stuff. Players are under a tremendous, and it's not just football, it's every sport. You're playing in front of millions, but you got to think you're going to have access to billions of people around the world when you do the dumbest thing out there, because now it's going to be shopped around on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. It's on every platform, where you're either going to make the play and you're the hero, or you miss the play and you're a zero, and you just feel like that. But then it's, everybody's going to have a chance to see it now because of how global everything is. Like people in different countries, I think the most important part is going back to the beginning, where they always just say, it's better to take the shot. It's better to be in position to, it's a privilege to have pressure because everybody doesn't have it, but it's better to be in the moment to make the play than not be in that moment, right? It's something that you just got to accept, but it is very hard for people these days, and to understand the magnitude of, we don't always equate for athletes what they go through before a game, during the week. We only see them show up on the game day, right? If you understood that, their grandmother passed away, I had to tell a teammate before that morning before a game, probably 6 hours before the game, that his brother had been murdered. He went to school with my brother, and good friend of mine and close brother of mine, because we're both receivers. And to tell him that on that morning was very tough. And then for him to have his best game as a pro that day. And every time we come off the field, he just comes sit beside me and just break down. And we both break down, but it's just like we're almost there. To deal with those emotions, and for nobody to know, if you're just watching on TV, you have no idea what he's going through on the field. So there's so many situations that athletes go through outside of the game that it's hard, or they find this space in the sport they play as a safe space that allows them to remove themselves from the real world for a couple of hours and just be. And I think that's one of the greatest impact moments of my lifetime, is just being able to be out there no matter what chaos was going on outside, to just be during those 3 hours of that game. And because once the game's over, then real life hits again.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry for your loss, first of all.
Yeah.
But to do it, take that news and then have to just show up and pretend in the moment, that you can just push through a game. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, guys go through divorces, they go through all kinds of different things throughout the season. I've had a teammate fly home because his wife gave birth and the umbilical cord got wrapped around the baby's neck and the baby passed. And
oh my goodness.
And then coming back after that and just, you're almost like, there's real life that happens.
Yeah.
And I don't think fans always take into account everything that goes on. Like, as an athlete, you're a human. You're going to go through problems just like everybody else. But, nobody shows up to make a mistake. Nobody shows up not to make a play, right? I think there's got to be grace at some point. I understand frustration. And people bet more than ever now. So betting plays a huge part of your pain, because if you're betting on a game and guy drops a game-winning touchdown, it doesn't matter his situation. You cost them money. So that's going to be more of the disappointment than the actual play. But yeah, I think there's a great way that we can start to bridge that gap. But the pressure is never going to leave. And like I said, it's a privilege to have pressure.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I couldn't. I mean, as a female, we're more emotional, right? Like that's just how we're built. We're wired. But, I think in some certain situations, though, too, we have to just hunker down and get through any moment or situation, especially if it's a good friend of ours that, their baby passes away or something. And you just have to be emotionally strong for them, too. Yeah. So, oh my goodness. Yeah. And there's no days off. Like you can't call in and say, hey, I've had a bad day. And, you just can't. It's like, there's days where it's like minus 40 outside and it's freezing and there's a blizzard and you just want to call it quits. And, there's bad days, right? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Let's go into something else.
Yeah, it's
we should have started with the sad stuff first.
It's a part of life, and you just got to make it through. Life. That's sports though. But think about it, like to have that space that you can go and compete and do things, great things, to really just have that couple hours where that stuff kind of removes itself.
Yeah. It actually, you're completely right, because you have to totally take your brain off of that and go, okay, now we're focused on the game or whatever. And you just have that little bit of relief in between things. And not just that. I mean, like you said, you guys are supporting each other through that situation. And, he didn't have to go through it, or you both didn't have to go through it alone. So that's a huge key as well. And
championships are so valuable. We won a championship at the end of that year. So to finish the year off the way we did, winning a championship in 2014, and to build that bond as brothers, to know what we went through and endured together, is even a greater moment of just, when we look at each other, we talk to each other, to know that we had those moments to lean on each other. It was special. Yeah,
that's incredible. That's true. And it's going to keep bonding you guys for life, knowing like you've had that. So, well, whenever you see him next, send my condolences, even though it was probably so many years ago.
I will do.
Give him a little hug for me and a little,
I will do.
Back. Way to go. That is the push through story, right? Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's go into now the business aspect, because I think this is important. I think that your knowledge of a coach and a player, what you've been through, like, of course, any type of team, you're going to have like the physical aspect of training, right? So you're vigorous training when you are in professional sports. Doesn't matter, if you, like I said, no days off.
No day.
You're going to be pushing through, push. So we were talking pre-show here, saying that, when you are a professional, athlete, you have to keep training, got to get trained hard. And it's not just, okay, well, I'm going to go out there and pop into the gym or whatever. It has become quite the lifestyle. You have to be
Yes.
living your almost, I'm not going to say best life because it's live your best life. You see mansions and cars and not that, but we're talking like the physical aspect of your best life, that it affects not just your body, but affects yourself mentally, because you are putting, what you need to fuel your body with properly, and you're feeding your mind the right stuff too. So let's go into your business, the name of it, how you founded it, and we'll go into all those details as we go along.
100%. So AO Sports is athlete-owned sports. We're a subscription-based platform media company where we help athletes and sports content creators gain global visibility. We help them with their content. So what we do is we sit down with these creators and we just see where they need help, and whether that's branding, production, marketing, sponsorship help. If they have a foundation, we can help them with that. If they don't have one, but they would like to create an initiative, they can house it under the AO Sports Impact Foundation to really go back to impacting those communities. So we're just like a one-stop shop that helps these athletes create better media, longer form media, and we distribute it through one platform, which is the AO Sports platform. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun helping these athletes get there. And we got a lot of technology and tools that we're going to be displaying that's going to make it easier for them, but also gain that visibility. I don't know if you or the people listening are aware, but when you post on Instagram, you actually only goes to 4% of your followers on Instagram. If you have over 500,000, it'll go to 8%. Of course, with the engagement, if it's really highly engaged, they'll increase the percentages. But you still think maxing out at 10, 12% of your following when you're trying to build your business. And any business owner out there, if they said they can only get to 12% of the people they need to get to that follow them and love their product, and they're only being able to get to 12% of those max, that's not a great business strategy for you. So we want to create unlimited amount of opportunity for our creators that allows them to have access to 100% of their network to truly monetize and truly build their brand.
That's incredible. I know sometimes I look at my insight on my socials and I'm going, okay, it's actually been kind of reversing for me, where it's not just my following, but it's those that are outside followers come in and they're checking out my reels and stuff, and it's reached those guys. That's like my Instagram. So it's kind of interesting to see. And then it's like hashtag stuff as well. I know that's a key factor. And then my Facebook, Underground Radio C Facebook, I've got just recently, it opened up and leveled up to we're letting you reach more people.
Nice.
So the quality of content has increased. Or more people are looking at it, whatever it may be, the reach. So it's quite interesting to see. But yeah, that took some time to do, like 4 years to do.
That's it. And what we're doing, if we push those boundaries, then it's going to force other companies to be better for creators on all platforms, right? Yeah. Because nobody can just let us come in and do those things without improving their own networks, opening up more opportunities, more space for other creators in those other platforms. So I believe what we're doing is, rising tides, raise all boats, right? So we're going to do that, and we're looking forward to challenging those other platforms to become better, right? Be more accountable to the creators, because it's truly the creators that have created those channels,
right?
And those platforms.
Is this going to be globally or?
Yes. So we'll have a global, we'll have a TV app, a mobile app, as well as a .net. So it'll be aosports.tv as well as the AO Sports app. We're looking to launch it this summer, launching our beta, or to be free for everybody during the beta portion. Even when we launch the official platform, we'll have a free membership and a paid membership. So it's going to be for everybody. And, we're looking not only to be behind the screen, creating great content, but also getting in front of the screen and being able to go to these big sporting events like Super Bowl and Grey Cup and World Cup and some other events that we have. We actually have a sport called Fireball Extreme Challenge. It's a new sport in over 8 different countries. It's like the ultimate game of keep away. It's co-ed by rule, and it's 7-on-7, and it's like you get a point for every completed pass. We're actually we're their global distribution partner, and I know the people in Italy. I've never been to Italy, but we're actually going to Sabadell, right outside of Venice, in December, putting on a global tournament there. So what a great opportunity we have to go to Italy and be my first time, but to watch these athletes compete on a global stage.
Cool. I hear the wine and the pasta are to die for.
I can't wait.
Can't wait for all the pasta and the wine. If you want your gains, kids, go there.
That's it. Don't wait. Responsible.
Bulking season. Go to Italy. I might be on to something. Let's talk. Yeah, take us through. Some of the, because we were talking about, the more like not physical activity, but the fitness stuff.
Yes.
As well. Take us through that. Is that's part of the program, or what's the interconnection with that?
Yeah, so building AO Sports, I just thought about building a global community. And what do you get when you go in a community, right? You're going to see a place where you can have fun, whether it's a bowling alley, a skating rink, a bar, those types of things. So that's where our content lies, right? So you can go in there, you can have fun watching the content, just like you would in Netflix or Amazon Prime and those other platforms. But also, to me, how do we have access to become our greatest self, right? And understanding my journey as an athlete, as a coach, as a man, a father, a husband, everything. How do I become my greatest self, and how do I learn from my past and help others skip some of the steps that I had to take? And that's through what we call AO Evolve, and that's your evolution, right? So we'll have sport-specific training, we'll have fitness and exercise, mental health and nutrition, professional development. We have Dr. Rob Kelly, who has a 97% addiction recovery success rate that'll be helping people on the platform. We have transition experts to help athletes transition into college, out of college, into pro sports, out of pro sports. We'll have yoga and breath work. We have practitioners in multiple countries, from Latvia to Germany, US, Canada. So we're bringing a wide group of people on that are specialized in these areas to really help drive people and help people. Also mentorship and leadership programs. So we're just hyper focused on 2 things as a company. So AO Sports, if you think of it, we're hyper focused on having the best technology, one, and the second is we're hyper focused on the athletes being able to build their brands. And that's what we're doing. And it's in a source, I see us as Google Maps, because we give you, the creator or the athlete, the ability to really build your brand and drive down any path that you want to go down, right? And we're just a support system to help you do that through a community platform.
That is so awesome. Just
yes.
When's the beta?
So we're looking to launch the beta this next month in June. So we're looking forward to launching the beta there, having some of our athletes' content up. We currently have about 100 athletes in 9 different countries, 16 different sports that's going to be a part of this. We're going to continue to expand out our athletes and creators. And when I say creators, because, we do have sports content creators that's coming on board too from major sports networks. Why not work for yourself, especially with the production team that I have, to build digital design sets and everything that we're going to be able to help these creators with, to do high quality shows and own it for themselves, work for themselves, and be able to do it from anywhere in the world.
Nice. Kind of like what I do. I don't own Just FM. I just own Underground Radio C. So there's that. But maybe we'll have to go in 100%. And do a test run and see.
That's it. It's really cool. Like what we're doing and how we're paying people. We're going to be able to pay more than other platforms, because if you look at it, Facebook and YouTube were never set up to be a monetary place. They were set up for you to share your content. They created a space for you to monetize, and now they've gotten better. I'll give them that. They've gotten better. But Apple pays 1 penny more than Spotify. They didn't really set the bar high. They just said, "Hey, we'll pay 1 penny more." Like, so we're really coming in setting the bar high, so that our creators are going to really benefit from our pay structure, and bringing their networks onto the platform.
Right. They have now. Facebook has their stipulation where when you go live, it deletes it after 30 days. So you have to download your content and or repost it after a certain time. And as some people may already know, but I've spent probably the last week downloading all of my shows since I first started onto a 2 terabyte hard drive.
That's it.
Because I don't want to lose all my content. So what can you guys do about that? Like, are you going to work around that?
So what we do is we basically lease your content from you. Anything, everybody has a channel. So let's say Cari has her own channel, and your channel will have a banner heading, and then we can partner you with sponsors that go on your channel, all those different types of elements. But everything is right there on your channel, where we're going to build out to where you'll be able to sell your own merchandise, do everything right there, have the different tabs for the different types of content that you have, and people will be able to engage right there with you on your channel. And anything that's behind the paywall, so anything exclusive to AO is exclusive for a year, right? So basically you say, hey, I want to put this on all these other platforms, but 1 a month or 2 a month, I want to put only on AO Sports. Well, that means anybody that comes to our platform with a paid membership has access to all the athletes for one price, right? Okay. So it's not just one. We built like a team. It's a team game, right? So everybody, we support our teammates and understand how when somebody comes on and if, for instance, let's say Shaq comes on and we have other basketball players on, maybe they're not as well known as Shaq, but when they say they like basketball, we're going to actually push that content to them because we know that member loves basketball. So we're going to push basketball content to them. So we're going to increase your visibility globally there. Now,
like an algorithm.
Yes. If Shaq brought 5% of his Instagram following, he's making over $3 million a month. Right. So now Shaq only makes, and I say only, but Shaq makes $12 million a year on TNT. So to have the ability to sit down with Shaq and say, hey, you can make over $36 million at AO Sports by bringing 5% of your fan base from Instagram over to AO, and now they're going to have access to all these other athletes. Well, when they start watching those other athletes' content, now we can go out and monetize those numbers for sponsorship. And we're not doing penny sponsorships. We're actually partnering athletes and creators with sponsors that drive engagement in communities around their initiatives and everything else. So we really want to value how we can partner these athletes with sponsors to create deeper impact and engagement in communities. Awesome.
That's done so good because I don't know, it's such a struggle to be able to get content out there, as everyone knows, like, just to even get a reel up or get I have a YouTube channel. The problem is I have hardly any content, only because I literally only have 2 videos up, and I've been back and forth debating, is it worth even starting a YouTube channel? Is it worth all that? Because you have to have 4,000 plays and you have to have over 1,000 followers. And for me, I want organic, right? I don't want to be, people send me all those spams of like, 10,000 followers for some $500 or whatever it is. And I'm just like, I'm not a person that wants bots. I'm sorry. I want authentic followers who truly love my voice and love what I have to share with them and have that audience. And truly, like, I've had, people on my Instagram and Facebook that, have been like, they're friends or family, but they've been loyal followers since I started. That's awesome. I launched my brand in 2019 and had to kind of actually relaunch it in 2020 because of the branding, the name brand. So, they've been around, and I'm just like, that's what I want. I want people that, and some of them collaborate with me and whatever, but it's just like, then they're loyal followers, and and I'll go like their stuff too in return, because I know like it's a community, and that's what I truly love. So
But you look at even with YouTube, the average person makes $4.18 per thousand views. So even 10,000 views gets you $40, right? So how hard is it to get to 10,000 views? And then is it even worth it to do that, to build to that? Even at 100,000 views, I mean, that's still only $400.
Yeah.
Right. So understanding what you're putting into these, and like you said, if somebody's going to charge you $500 to get you 10,000 people, that's not going to. It's going to take you 20 videos just to get to pay for the 500 or the 10,000.
I know. Right? I know.
So all those things is very hard. Due to my journey and the way that we pay has allowed me to create this platform in the way it has, because the D2 version of myself, nobody knew.
Yeah.
But if I could monetize my college teammates or monetize, the people at my university, and had 500 people come on and make $1,000 a month off of 500 people, but they also get access to other athletes, and I have a huge advantage now as any athlete from any sport to be able to build my brand.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's worth it, right? I'll do 500 people for $1,000 a month. I'll do that.
Yeah. Like, I'll do that. Of course you would. Okay. So we're going to wrap up now, but where can people go to contact you or your socials to stay connected? All those beautiful, lovely details.
Yeah. So on Instagram, on LinkedIn, AO Sports TV, Nik Lewis on LinkedIn. Also NIKEL 18 number 18 Nickel 18 on Instagram for me personally. But yeah, you can hit me up on social media. We're putting on an amazing event in Calgary coming up this June to kick off the CFL season. We're going to have a principals and leadership fireside chat, a golf tournament at the private Mickelson National Golf Course, a youth multi-sport camp. And then we're kicking off the 2025 Stampeder season with a VIP experience with me and some of my friends coming from the NFL, MLB, NHL that's going to be in town for that weekend. And, we're still looking for a couple sponsorship partners or anybody looking to be enter the golf tournament. You can email me at info@aosports.tv. So looking forward to seeing people around Calgary and get back into the community. And we're raising money that weekend for kids sports, right? So Kids Sport Calgary. It's going to be awesome.
Ayo.
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 See, there you go. You're going to hear it all through downtown Calgary.
I have an idea that I'm going to share with you after.
Awesome.
Thank you, Nik, for coming on for Connected with Cari. Here on Just Defeat Just FM Underground Radio, see the 101 TV app on Roku, and also my LinkedIn people get their own little special little show over there. They don't have to go running around through my socials to find it, but yeah. So thank you again for tuning in this evening. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Nik, we'll see you soon, and make sure you guys stay connected. Good night.
how we do it. You know what it is. All right, you started off again, and I'm gonna keep you and interrupt. It's your man Jay Wu out here in the tropical paradise, and they say you don't bring sand to the beach, but alongside me I have the beautiful co-host Yaya.
Yaya in the building, and we have amazing news for you.
Well, we're outside, not in the building, and the sand is out here on the beach. We're here to talk about who got next hour on Jess TV.
Hey, and I know it is at Tuesday.
I guess.
You know, wait, let me do that. And I know it is at every Tuesday, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock? Oh, wow, yes. You can catch Demasha with the Zip Mouth Motivation Show. You can catch Jay Cabrera with Indie Vibing with Jay. You can catch Yaya with Reggae with Yaya
all the time.
And we can't forget who got next in the artist video show. So stay tuned every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. right here on Jess TV.
Yes, it's your man.
And your girl.
And your gal.
That's right.
All right.
Peace. Let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun.
Yes. All right.
Black out if they act out. Yeah.